Wildcat at Hershey Park is GCI's first ever roller coaster and is a massive wooden roller coaster. But as of now, Great Coasters International's first ever roller coaster, which is Wildcat, is officially closed. It is a defunct wooden coaster and more than likely going to be getting the RMC treatment in the near future. Today's video, I'm going to be giving my in-depth analysis and my in-depth thoughts on Wildcat from Hershey Park. Wildcat stands at a height of around 100 feet and it has a pretty decent track length and the layout is also pretty good. Wildcat isn't one of my favorite coasters though, but I think it is quite a bit underrated. The area that it's located in is actually kind of towards the back of the park. Hershey Park's layout's a bit weird. It's a big L shape. So basically, if you know where you're going, it's basically in the very back of the park, basically in the area where Laugh Track, Lightning Racer, and the Wild Mouse is. Basically, you gotta pass Fahrenheit and then you're at Wildcat. Wildcat's entrance sign does look pretty nice, although it isn't the best. I think the area around it looks pretty nice, and I do like the entrance sign. Now, when you do go to ride Wildcat, if you are going to be riding, I do recommend sitting up in the front more than the back, because if you ever experienced Wildcat in the back row, you would know on the final turn before the bunny hill, before that final brake run, it absolutely jackhammers you. Like, it literally pushed the lap bar fully down on me. And I didn't have much room by that point of the ride. But if you ride it up in the front row, the ride ain't bad. It's actually quite a fun wooden coaster in the front. There's some really good pops of ejector airtime, where I wouldn't never even think would be any airtime on this ride. That's actually probably one of the reasons why I prefer this ride over Lightning Racer and why it's my favorite Woody in the park. But let's start going into this layout, because in my opinion, Wildcat actually has a very good layout for a GCI coaster. So when you leave the station, you're going to make a right hand turn and you're going to go into a little dip, into a little bunny hill. This bunny hill is too slow to even give airtime. But then you climb up your 106-foot lift hill, and once you reach the top, it is a pretty nice view of the surrounding area, and then you're going to go down your curved drop. Many GCIs that I have ridden have this curved drop feature, and honestly, I say this is by far the weakest one I've ridden. But you also got to remember, this was their first take at the curved drop. You didn't really see this on really any wooden coaster at the time, so it's a pretty unique drop, but it doesn't really pull many forces. After that, you're going to go into a pretty interesting turnaround. This turnaround gives you a pretty good pop of ejector time in the front row. If you're holding your lap bar up, it's when you're going into the element. And overall, it gives some pretty good lateral G-forces as you're going around this turnaround. Then you're going to dive off of that turnaround into another turn, into this big airtime. Like, it's very drawn out, this airtime hill. It's like weirdly banked, but if you're in the front row, you'll get some decent footer in it. And then you're going to another classic GCI turnaround. I really like the shaping of these turnarounds for some reason. Then you go into another hill, which doesn't give much airtime, but then it goes into a pretty forceful, it's really just a bunch of lateral forces of this turn. You're going to dip, and you actually get a shockingly surprising amount of good ejector airtime in this one. Then you're going to another airtime hill, which doesn't really give much airtime because it's so drawn out. Then you're going to go into the fastest section of the ride, which I mean by pacing wise. You're going to go down this hill into another bunny hill style element, and then you go into the roughest part of the ride, the turnaround section. This turnaround section is actually pretty rough, like really rough. I mean, I got stapled like really bad when I was in back row. I was able to hold my lap bar up when I was on the front row, which I was able to enjoy a little more, but it's really rough. But then you're going to go into another bunny hill after that, and go into one more before you finally hit the brake run. Now, one thing to note that is really cool about this brake run is that it actually made a really cool, weird squeaking noise on the final brake run before you hit the transfer track. I don't know, it was really cool, and I'm so glad I got it on my footage. So yeah, let me play you a clip of that weird brake run. So how would I rate GCI's original coaster and now a defunct wooden coaster at Hershey Park? I'm going to be modest and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think this ride is pretty underrated. This isn't by far their best coaster and nowhere close, because this park has such a great coaster lineup, but it really is an underrated coaster and is by far a lot better than what I was originally expecting. If Wildcat was still open, I would go rewrite it because I think it's a solid Woody. In fact, I think it's their best Woody in the park. Yeah, Lightning Racer isn't as good in my opinion, but I will miss this GCI Woody. I only ever got to do it twice and both of my rides are actually really good on it. So yeah, a 7 out of 10 I'm gonna give it. That is going to do it for today's video. It's on a little bit of a shorter side. I haven't really made a short review in a little while, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and if you ever got the chance to ever ride Wildcat, tell me in the comments below what you guys thought of it. Did you guys like it as much as I did? Did you guys hate it? Because I've heard a lot of that. But that is going to do it for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye everyone.